Hello. I'm just going to have a bit of a mum moment and tidy up. There we go. That's the excitement for the evening done. Thank you. Hi, I'm Megan O'Neill. I am a lecturer in human geography at the University of Dundee. Woo! Thank you very much. I've been doing this job since August. Prior to that, I was a lecturer in criminology, and before that, I was a lecturer in sociology. So, yeah, human geography, what the heck? I'll work out what that is very soon, I'm sure. Social sciences, we do that sort of thing. So, yes, sociology is how I got my degree. Now, some of my contemporaries in sociology, some of my colleagues have earned their degrees doing very noble topics of research. So things like studying racism or studying domestic violence or studying the oppression of the working class. I got my PhD hanging out in Scottish football grounds for a year. I know, very noble task, I hear you say, absolutely. My research was based on the policing of football matches. So I was observing stewards for a year, basically, watching stewards, watching police officers. That's how I got my degree. Most of my friends at this time were male Scottish football supporters who felt this research was completely wasted on me, because I was not at all watching the men running around with the ball down in front. I was looking at stewards and seeing what they were up to, or various police officers. So I was in the vans, I was in the CCTV rooms, I was not really paying attention to the field at all. Now I continue to do this now, even when my husband and I are at home, football match on the telly, he's watching the game and I'm saying, oh, look what the stewards are doing, that's a new segregation tactic, oh, that's really cool, look the camera's moved, I can't see it anymore, oh, I hate it when that happens, it's so frustrating. So that's the kind of thing that I do. Now, I've tried to get into football, I really, really have, but I have a bit of a problem though. I mean, things like, for example, at the time of my research, Celtic had a player called Baldy, and I know there's one now called Messi, and there's another one who's Xavi. So Baldy, Messi, and there's just not a lot there, to get into, I'm afraid. And I'm trying, but it's not very appealing. But I have to say, some of my best experiences at all these football matches that I went to for free were listening to the chants. Some really exciting chanting going on there. Aberdeen in particular, they're rather verbose in Aberdeen, I have to say. One of my favorites, let's see if I can remember it. It goes something like this. Aberdeen, Aberdeen, Aberdeen. Aberdeen, Aberdeen, Aberdeen. Aberdeen, Aberdeen, Aberdeen. Aberdeen, Aberdeen. That's it. Managed to remember that one, thank God. Yes, so now the kind of research that I do is qualitative research. So I'm not doing surveys or questionnaires. I'm not running around asking people to fill in forms or anything. I do what's called ethnography. And basically, ethnography entails being a stalker. So I would follow police officers wherever they would go. I would follow the stewards. So I was in all these strange places with police, including the cells on occasion. I did manage to get back out, though. That was good. So I'm just sort of following them around. Now, the problem is, it's difficult to take notes when you're stalking someone because it can make them uncomfortable, the note-taking part. So ethnographers tend to try to hold off taking notes until they're on their own. Now, one way to do this is basically to look like you're incontinent. So anytime someone says something interesting, you kind of go, oh, excuse me for a minute, and you run to the toilet and you write it all down. So that was me for a year. I was an incontinent stalker of the police. That's how I did my research. The other way to take note, the other thing about ethnography is it's good if you can kind of blend in, because you don't want to draw too much attention to yourself. You want to observe what's happening in its natural setting, its natural way. Now, here I was, young at the time, blonde, not quite so much anymore after 15 years on these sun-forgotten shores. But yes, young blonde American in Scottish football grounds surrounded by men. Easy. Blending in, not a problem. But we managed it in the end. Now, because I was a self-funding student, and so even more impoverished than the average student, I had to go where I could get access for free. So the police officers I knew happened to be going to a football match in Ibrox in Glasgow. So I went to Glasgow to observe football policing there. Now, at the time, I should say, I was seeing a Celtic supporter. He's now my husband. He's sitting in the back. Thank you, dear. So, having spent a lot of time with a Celtic supporter, I'm now going to Ibrox as a sociologist. So I'm trying really hard not to have preconceived ideas about what Ibrox is going to be like with Rangers supporters. So we're going to keep an open mind, not having preconceived ideas. Okay. So one of the very first things that I see when I get off the train in Glasgow, an orange march. All right? Okay, fair enough. That's what happens as part of town. Not a big deal. So a very nice police officer comes, meets me at the station, takes me to the football ground. But we have to stop and wait for the march to finish its journey. Okay, not a big deal. So I'm watching this and I'm thinking, as an American looking at this, as far as parades go, they're pretty rubbish. If you think about it, there's no cheerleaders. Nobody's twirling something on fire. There's no handing out sweets or T-shirts, that kind of thing. I think you're really missing a trick with orange marches. Like, for example, if you think about the Thanksgiving Day parade in America, you have these giant inflatable balloons in the shape of American icons like Spider-Man or SpongeBob SquarePants or a hamburger, who knows? Whatever we're into at the time, okay? So if you think about it, for your Orange March, you could have a giant inflatable sash that people are, dragging around, or giant inflatable flutes that people are, hanging around. It would add a lot to the atmosphere. And also, all those sashes everywhere. Where's your, Miss Govan 2013 kind of thing? I didn't see her on a float anywhere. There's a lot you could do there. The whole thing is also rather monochromatic as well, if you think about it. So, I don't know, not too terribly impressed. But there we go. So I got to watch the match. I was mostly with Glaswegian police on this particular event, and my Aberdeen police pals said they could give me a lift home. So I was sitting in the back of the car. We hadn't left yet. And what was interesting for me on this adventure was seeing how the football rivalry translated into a policing rivalry. So the Aberdeen police had some things to say about the Glaswegian police. Stupid motherfuckers don't know a thing about policing football matches. Wouldn't know a football hooligan if they sat on one. There's a bunch of stupid twats. So I'm sitting and I'm taking my notes on the other police officers, not them. And one of them, they turn around, they look at me, and I think, am I going to get the confidentiality chat? What's about to happen? Is it Megan? Twat is spelled T-W-A. Good to know. Thanks very much. Now, here's the thing. So, I'm seeing a Celtic supporter. I've been to Ibrox. Now, the next place I got to go to for free was Tynecastle in Hearts Ground in Edinburgh. So, according to my nearest and dearest, I went to the completely wrong ends of both Glasgow and Edinburgh. Sorry, I had to have a bit of a ritual cleansing after I got back from those ones before you come anywhere near me. But on the issue of life with a Celtic supporter, after a while he and I decided to get married, and so we're planning our wedding and our gift list for Debenhams and these sorts of things. We had very short conversations about color. So I'd say to him, what color should the sheets be? Green. What color should the towels be? Green. What color should the plates be? Green. Thank you. I did, however, draw the line at the wedding dress having green hoops on it. That wasn't going to happen. All right. Thank you very much. You've been lovely.